As far as passenger comfort is concerned, if you compare Shatabdi type of train, which is the next in terms of the value given to the customer, these trains are a lot better because the riding is far superior to the Shatabdi. In every coach, what we have done is we've provided infotainment system. You have an onboard Wi-Fi. These are things which are not there on the Shatabdi. You have a bottle holder and a mobile charger for every seat. That is again very exclusive. Pantry in each coach. So the quality of catering is far better on the Vande Bharat, even though that I think is an area where we keep getting a lot of complaints. But all the provisions have been made, and these trains are very safe. They have a fire detection system, and in areas where fire can go unnoticed, we have a self-activated fire mitigation system as well. So like electrical panels and toilets, there is a fire mitigation system. Then we have CCTV surveillance. So the guard and the loco pilot, they can look into each coach and see what's going on. On the safety part of it, the gangway, what we commonly call as vestibule. The vestibule here is much wider and it's a completely airtight and watertight vestibule. So your movement from one coach to the other is seamless. In the conventional trains, you feel scared when you're going from, because it keeps shaking. It is partly open and the noise levels are very high. Here you would not even realize that you've gone from one coach to the other. So that is one thing which is really special about the Vande Bharat. As far as safety is concerned, that is one thing which is exclusive to the Vande Bharat. The Kavach has been fitted right at ICF, and it has been tested. We've got a small test track just outside the ICF factory where the Kavach ground equipment is also installed. So you can evaluate whether it is working. So when a train goes out from ICF, all these features have been tested. Kavach, basically what it does is, if you have two trains on the same track, it doesn't allow those trains to come below a certain distance. If they come below a certain distance, the brakes on both the trains get activated. So there is no collision. Good you asked that question, because that is another thing which is different from the Rajdhani and Shatabdi. On the Vande Bharat, we don't need a locomotive because there is a concept called distributed power. So on the Vande Bharat, we have 4 units which are like 4 independent locomotives. So 4 units, so even if one unit fails, the train continues to run. Unlike in a loco haul train, if the loco fails, the train just stands in the section. On the Vande Bharat, you have 4 units. So even if one unit fails, the train keeps running, but with a slightly compromised speed. In addition to that, the Vande Bharat has motors on every second coach. So every second coach is powered, thanks to which the acceleration is very high. It is almost equal to the metro coaches. It's about 0.72 meters per second. And on the Shatabdi, it would be about 40% of that. So what happens is, when you are observing a speed restriction, the Vande Bharat takes much lesser time to come back to the maximum speed. So between stations and during stoppages, minimum time is lost on the Vande Bharat. So that is why you will find that in a train journey from here to Bangalore, Vande Bharat would be faster by about 25 to 30 minutes compared to the Shatabdi, because of this single feature of higher acceleration, and correspondingly the braking is also faster. So if you are braking, you can brake later. In a Shatabdi, you have to start braking earlier. Suppose you have to stop at a station, you have to brake say a kilometer in advance. In the Vande Bharat, you can afford to brake later. Of course, locomotives also have regenerative braking, but regenerative braking is better here because you have more, it's a distributed power system. So the efficiency of regeneration is better compared to a loco haul train. Regenerative braking, I think I should explain what happens in regenerative braking. Basically, a motor starts working like a generator. So when you brake, you are feeding back power into the supply system. So another train which is accelerating can use that power. So because of which there is an energy saving of about 35%, which means in the good old days when we did not have coaches with regenerative braking, if you were consuming 100 units of power, now you consume only 65 units. I'll tell you the figures. Like in the Vande Bharat, we have 8 motor coaches, and each motor coach is powered to an extent of 840 kilowatt. So 840 into 8. So we have about 7,000 kilowatts of power. Okay, which is equivalent to almost 2 locomotives.
Oh, yes.
So even though you don't see a locomotive, the power on the train is equal to 1.8 or 2 locomotives. All 8 coaches are operational. See, it is through wired, so there is nothing like a rear locomotive or a front locomotive.
Oh, okay.
So you have 8 motor coaches, all of them are normally active,
Okay.
unless one particular motor coach has a fault because of which it is required to be isolated.
Right. Okay.
So it has a lot of power, that is why that acceleration is so high.